Ranger's Apprentice, The Sorcerer in the North, Book 5. Will Treaty has completed his training as a Ranger's Apprentice and is now a full Ranger, a milestone marked by earning a silver oak leaf. Now 21, he's confident, skilled, and ready for his first solo posting at Sea Cliff Fief, a quiet coastal territory far in Araluen, southeast. As winter approaches, Will rides toward his new home with his loyal horse Tug, scanning the horizon like Holt taught him. On the road, something catches his eye: black and white fur and blood. It's a wounded border shepherd dog slashed by a blade and left to die. Will treats her wounds, stitches the gash, and gently carries her on his saddle. She's intelligent, brave, and oddly endearing, especially with one blue eye and one brown, though for now she's simply the dog. When Will reaches Seacliff, he notices the locals avoid his gaze. Fear hangs over the fief. The Seneschal Agramond greets him, along with Edwina Temple, the housekeeper who worked for the previous ranger. Will keeps her on, and she becomes his quiet ally. At the castle, Baron Ergel seems kind, though a bit too eager to keep Will under supervision. The battlemaster Sir Norris is capable but dismissive of Will's youth. Still, Will quickly sees the garrison is in poor shape. No drills, no discipline. He'll have to report this failure, though he likes Ergel and Norris personally. Weeks later, Seacliff's peace shatters. A farmer bursts in, shouting about Scandians raiding at Bitterroot Creek. Panic spreads, even though Araluen signed peace with the Scandians years ago. Norris's men are unprepared, so Will takes charge. He orders the villagers to shelter inside, livestock hidden, and, surprisingly, tells Norris to prepare a banquet. When Will confronts the raiders, he finds only one wolf ship, led by Gundar Hardstriker. With a calm but commanding presence, Will drops Erak Starfollower's name, the Scandian Oberjarl and Will's old ally. The raiders immediately recognize him as the ranger who fought beside them against the Temujai. Instead of a battle, Will negotiates. Seacliff will give them supplies in exchange for peace. That night, the Scandians dine in the castle, awkwardly trying to use goblets and say please and thank you. It's hilarious, but it works. Seacliff is safe. Will even solves one last local problem. He hands over a violent criminal, John Buttle, the man who hurt the dog, to Gundar as a slave. Justice served, in Will's own unconventional way. Just when things calm down, Will receives orders from Crowley, the ranger commandant. He's being reassigned, undercover, to investigate strange events in the northern fief of Norgate. Lord Siren of Castle Mackindor has fallen mysteriously ill, and rumours say the ancient sorcerer Malcallum has returned. Will's youth makes him the perfect agent. He'll pose as a wandering jongleur, a travelling musician. After training with Berrigan, a one-legged ex-ranger turned performer, Will sets out north disguised with his mandola and a new snow-patterned ranger cloak. Along the way, he learns how to perform convincingly. Songs, tricks, banter, and soon wins over tavern crowds. But what he really wants is gossip. At the Cracked Flagon Inn, he hears chilling tales. Strange lights in Grimsdale Wood, voices in the night, and the Night Warrior, a ghostly figure said to guard the forest. Lord Siren lies dying, and his scholarly son Ormond is too weak to command, while Sir Keren, Siren's bold nephew, has become the soldier's favourite. When Will reaches Castle Mackindor, Ormond treats him coldly, unimpressed by his music. Keren, however, is friendly and charismatic. Everything Ormond isn't. That night, Will walks near the forest and sees the truth behind the rumours. Or so he thinks. In the mist, glowing lights dance among the trees. Whispering voices surround him. Then, out of the darkness, a towering warrior in spiked armour appears, 12 meters tall, the Night Warrior. The voice booms across the clearing, warning Will to leave. Terrified, he flees the forest. The next day, Ormond nearly exposes Will's secret by testing his musical knowledge. Before the situation worsens, a noblewoman arrives, Lady Gwendolen of Amal. She's haughty, sharp-tongued, and demands Will perform for her immediately. But when they're alone, the mask drops. It's Alice, Will's old friend and ally from the diplomatic service, posing undercover. Together, they piece things together. Alice points out that Will S-Dog didn't react with fear in the forest, proof the Night Warrior was no supernatural being. They investigate the woods and find evidence of trickery, hidden ropes and pulleys for moving lanterns, scorched ground from burning white rock to create powerful light, and mist acting as a projection screen. The sorcery is a mechanical illusion meant to keep people away. But who's behind it, and why? Back at the castle, Will mingles with Keren's soldiers, gathering intel. He learns Keren has been secretly hiring rough men and isolating them from the regular garrison, an ominous sign. Meanwhile, Holt and Crowley read Will's latest report and decide to send reinforcement. Will's best friend, Horace, traveling north in disguise as a free knight named Sir Hawken. Soon chaos erupts at Mackindor. Will witnesses Ormond and his secretary Xander fleeing the castle, with someone who looks exactly like Will riding beside them. It's a decoy. Moments later, the real Ormond, weak and poisoned, begs for Will's help. The truth comes out. Keren is the traitor. Driven by jealousy and ambition, Keren made a deal with a Scotty warlord. In exchange for power, he'll hand over the castle to the enemy. To make it possible, he's been poisoning Lord Siren and Ormond with a rare toxin called Coracor. He also spread rumors of sorcery to make Ormond seem unstable. Will plans to smuggle Ormond out to find the real healer, Malcallum, who Ormond insists is no sorcerer but a wise man hiding in Grimsdale Wood. Alice is still undercover in the castle, but with Keren tightening control, Will has no choice but to act fast. During the night, he and Xander help the weakened Ormond escape under a hail of arrows. Will shoots precisely to cover their flight, though one arrow meant for battle only wounds him. They vanish into the forest. There, guided by the dog's keen nose, they find Malcolm, the truth behind the legend. He's a gentle healer who shelters society's outcasts, people deformed or disabled, whom the villagers had labeled as monsters. The towering giant Will feared earlier is actually Trobar, one of Malcolm's kindest followers. The illusions in the forest were Malcolm's defenses, meant to scare intruders away. Malcolm confirms Ormond's poisoning and administers the antidote. Ormond will live, but Keren's coup is already underway, and now Keren has captured Alice. Inside the castle, Keren uses a blue gemstone to mesmerize her, a psychological form of mind control. Alice fights hard, but the hypnosis breaks her will, forcing her to reveal Will's true identity. Keren races to the tower and discovers Will climbing down the wall. He cuts the rope, but Will lands safely and escapes into the night. Reuniting with Malcolm, Will vows to rescue Alice no matter what, but they're hopelessly outnumbered. One ranger, one scholar, a handful of misfits. Then Will remembers someone who might even the odds. Gundar Hardstriker and his crew of stranded Scandians. 30 warriors with no home for the winter, and a ranger with a castle to retake. Will rides south to find them. Final thoughts. The Sorcerer in the North is a turning point for Will Treaty. For the first time, he's fully on his own. No Holt, no supervision, just his training and instincts. John Flanagan balances mystery, espionage, and heart-pounding action perfectly. The sorcery turns out to be science and illusion, a brilliant example of one of the series' main themes, that fear often hides reason. Malcolm is one of the most memorable characters in the series, a healer turned hermit whose kindness gives refuge to those society rejects. His forest sanctuary is a powerful metaphor for compassion and acceptance. And through it all, Will's bond with Alice grows deeper, as both risk everything for each other. The book ends on a cliffhanger, setting up the siege of Mackindor. With Alice trapped, Keren in control, and the Scotty ready to invade, Will must return with Scandian warriors to storm the castle and stop the betrayal before it's too late. And somewhere out there, Horace is already on his way north. So, get ready, because in the next chapter, the ranger, the knight, and a crew of Scandian raiders are about to lay siege to Castle Mackindor. Until then, subscribe for more, hit the like button, and remember, a ranger is never truly alone.